So let's start off focusing on mechanical assembly. So today we will be focusing on developing the internal elements, or at least a couple of the internal elements of the assembly of the handheld reciprocating saw that we did yesterday. We will begin by creating a component. Now let's just talk a little bit about the concept of Rule 1. It seems to have, Rule 1 is something that's appeared on the forums a few years back. The idea that you would start off by creating components inside of Fusion before you start building the geometry. You define the components. This is something that I go back and forth on. The reality to my way of thinking is the way Fusion 360 is most valuable is in its flexibility. The idea that you can start by creating right from the outset without pinning yourself into a corner. There are definitely advantages to approaching things from the idea of creating a component, and we'll take a look at this more in depth in a moment. But a key element to keep in mind inside of Fusion 360 is the concept of bodies versus components. Bodies are a collection of features. The thing that you see on the screen in blue, the crank arm, is a body. It is made up of some extrusions, a couple of fillets, maybe a whole feature. So the thing that defines the shape is the body. What makes it able to be joined in an assembly and to have individual part drawings made from it is the fact that it has been defined as a component. Now what makes that a little bit special is thinking of the context of the timeline. We'll take a look at this, but just to plant the seed, when you look at the timeline of your overall design, now yesterday we did everything all in one space, so we had this very elaborate timeline. In the mechanical environment, when you look at the top level components or the top level in the design, you will see all the features that make up that design, regardless of the number of bodies or components. Now if you activate a component, and the component was created before creating all of its features, the sketch, the extrusions, the fillets for example, the timeline will narrow to show those features that are associated with that component. So if you want to more easily navigate the features that belong to a particular part, using a component to create a structure for the part has a huge advantage. If, however, you are quickly just trying to create a design, something that will be static, something that doesn't need to have things sliding around or moving around, then honestly, bodies works just fine. You only really need to go into the components if you're going to start assembling things together. So it really comes down to the user, but it's important in an instruction environment to put the picture together for the students. And I'm sure right now it's a little bit hazy for you, but we'll go through it and you'll understand. And it's a real powerful concept once you get the hang of it, when you come to understand where the properties lie. Other things that we'll be doing in this initial exercise, using multi-loop sketching, being able to reuse a sketch. Any sketch inside of Fusion 360 can not only be used for multiple features, but can be used in multiple bodies or components. So it's all in one place, so you can just reuse it. I really like the way Fusion 360 approaches sketch constraints. I don't think we'll get into custom parameters. And then we will look at press pull, which is a very cool tool. It's multifunctional, and I'll try and show you hopefully at least 3 uses of it.